stars above are almost hidden. The moon refuses to be seen. You can sabotage the sunset or suffocate the dawn, but there's a little light left in between. 'Cause I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I wanna love you on the darkest of your days. Well, you can blame me for the weather, and you can fault me for the rain. The cloth of inquisition, I'll wear it without tears, and I'll bear the mantle of your pain. 'Cause I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I wanna love you on the darkest of your days. I cannot spring you from this nightmare. Well, it's a cage without a key. Well, you could be light as a feather, one that floats its way to me. Yeah. They say that time will make it better, and that there's every chance to heal. I've heard about forgiveness, I've heard of patience too, but they're no match for how you feel. 'Cause I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I don't wanna be your weekend lover. No, I wanna love you on the darkest of your days. Angels are flying everywhere she goes. Let's let the light in, this chapter has to close. An iron mask, a cattle prod, well, if I ask, she'll make me God. A velvet voice will speak in tongues like radium inside your lungs. She has got my voodoo doll, she'll throw it off a waterfall. It's the only way she knows it all, to say she loves me. She has got my voodoo doll, she's soaking it in alcohol. It's the only way she knows it all, to say she loves me. A foreign feeling irritates my skin as she's revealing a torso full of pins. My logic fails, her ardor falls, and pain prevails within four walls. My arms and legs are tied in knots. She hits me like a train of thought. She has got my voodoo doll. She'll hit it with a cannonball. It's the only way she knows it all to say she loves me. She has got my voodoo doll. She'll throw it off a waterfall. It's the only way she knows it all to say she loves me. How she loves me. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh. Oh, oh. Frozen in my dreams, words are forsaken and traded in for screams. A fairy tale under martial law, a nightingale with a fatal flaw. An even keel will overflow with chaos hiding down below. She has got my voodoo doll. She'll throw it off a waterfall. It's the only way she knows it all to say she loves me. She has got my voodoo doll. She's soaking it in alcohol. It's the only way she knows it all to say she loves me. And how she loves me. Yeah, she loves me. Oh, you had better swim like you ain't never swum before. Unless you wanna end up lying on the ocean floor. The channel is so windy and the water is so wide. You paddle toward that city under cover of the night. The hurricane's in motion as you're jumping from the jail. The Hellhounds of Alcatraz are hot on your tail. They'll follow you through North Beach and way down to Mexico. You're never out of their reach and it don't matter where you go. Down the Embarcadero, they are following their prey. The strait is getting narrow between you and Judgment Day. So if you ever turn around, you know what to expect. The Hellhounds of Alcatraz are dogging all your steps. And the mission bells are ringing out upon the open sea. And the angels are singing, but they'll never set you free. Oh, a storm is a-comin', like doomsday coming down. Their paws are a-drumming like a tremor through the ground. They're raging up from under, following no common law, like wicked bolts of thunder with the justice of their jaws. Like locomotive lightning riding on the howling wind. The Hellhounds of Alcatraz relieve you of your sin. sky above will darken as you tread into the night. You already hear them barking, pretty soon you'll feel them bite. You hear a deathly rumbling as you see the moon eclipsed, and San Francisco Bay is nothing but the river Styx. A refugee to heaven, you can't get off the ground. The Hellhounds of Alcatraz are dragging you back down.
About the alderman's abusive attitude in Arizona. Because barbiturates were banned by a brazen cutthroat committee composed of controversial diplomats dedicated to deconstructing democracy, we've had to execute every embarrassed engineer found fornicating in fields of Forsythia. Given the governor's generous gift of gab and his habit of inhaling horse and hobnobbing with horny heads of state, he instituted injecting isotopes of ink to inmates. But he's just jaw-jacking and jiving. The Justice Department knows he has a knack for bad karma. Just keep knocking. Keep on keeping on. Look at the laws laid down late last night by these losers lacking morals, yet made to mock and mimic the moral majority. Neurotic nitwits nervous about the news on nepotism. Observe how only under oath do they obey orders, patiently paraphrasing past penalties, quietly questioning the quality of our quarterly quests, resisting our rage. They rarely raise reasonable responses, somehow sponsoring suicide selfies and selling sneakers to stalkers, taking test and turn-up technicians on trips to Tucson under unregulated unions that don't understand the various vocations of villagers, all victims caught on video being violated, without warning, without warrants, while you watch excommunicated movie extras as a Xerox Xennial youngsters yodeling yesternight across the yard in a zoo not zoned for zigzagging zombies. There you go. The tongue as knife as grenade. The tongue as pilot light to volcano. The tongue as butterfly shrapnel spraying radioactive glass. The tongue as battering ram, axe handle, desecrated cross, trigger. The tongue as begging puppy, as monster truck. The tongue Russian necktied for a joke. The tongue as assassin, a ninja jangling with blades, cross-stepping the grassy knoll. The tongue as wooden stake, silver bullet, an earthquake with lightning in its hair. The tongue begging kryptonite to freebase. The tongue as apple and serpent, rolling its jellied eggs into the ear. The tongue, loaded, unlicensed, and steaming with cordite, trying to finish something that never should have started. The tongue, having kissed every wound from inside out, is jealous of bone. The tongue has heard of the heart but doesn't believe in it, prefers the pulse in dice. The tongue as a wall, a trench, a gate, fool's gold in moonlight. The tongue tied into a straitjacket, scatting. The tongue, a lead weight dropped onto a garden of peonies, a nest of starlings. The tongue, misfired, misplaced, misspoke in our last conversation. The tongue, armed, blows a hole through its nearest cheek. The tongue, thorny and uphill, single-bladed and double-barreled. The tongue as museum, snowing through autumn. The tongue gets it. Yes, yes, yes. But how it loves spitting no. The sky sheds hot apples of light. Rapacious grins slashed across the throat of the sky. This in celebration of war, which we worship with tears in our eyes in this cathedral of vampires. We obediently raise our faces to the fallen dead at the appointed time while our tithes of loyalty are looted from our back pockets. We are blindfolded in faith at this service where we slice open stolen cultural lambs on a pew of slot machines. Our prayers full of shrapnel, swarming to reconstruct the truth. These prayers are all processed catchphrases and repurposed ad campaigns, the last freestyle sampled from a dying mouth. Nightly, I check myself for bite marks, a rubber stamp of lips, proof of percussion and sucking. It's the brain's insistence on untying knots served by the tongue. This isn't prayer dancing. It's response to infestation, a swarm of the wrong gods healing parishioners with fortune cookie astrology. We pray just to breathe in certain spaces, and you expect us to pay weekly to get suffocated. All right. Every night, I am murdered in my sleep, only to awaken radiant and naked beneath dawn's monsoon of blood. This white genesis occupied by the proudly illiterate after labeling the tree of knowledge a controlled substance. Every night, the bushes open its jaws of switches and my shift begins anew. My job in this garden of perennial thistles where I'm forced to sharecrop, name the bite style for each fresh animal rushing from the double-gated house above me. Describe the complex flavors in poisoned saliva, pepper, citrus, rust. Tag ivory monuments in bubble lettering, new words for being spat out and eaten again. Determine the tasting notes between mauling for recreation or slaughter triggered by fear. I am made in the image of illegally moving targets. My ribs open nightly, blossom of beef mushrooms, its aroma singing to the sky. Night opens its drooling jaws in praise of me. I come from the kidnapped, the assaulted. My country 'tis of reparations as in-store credit back-ordered to bankruptcy. It is me and my trophy wife passing as a dream of some kind. All I want is 40 dead mules and an acre of land with a lighthouse right above the porch of the great Atlantic Ocean, just in case any of my ancestors tasted nasty and made it. I come from a people who pay a penalty every sunrise and divinate to paroled gods with rancid hog maws. The stripes plowed into my grandfather's back will have to stand in for our family album. Somebody threw some stars at my grandmama's head and said, bet you won't ask for no freedom no more. Natives in prison-issue war bonnets say, I come from a poisoned land that recycles children into artillery shells and where dark skin is as good as an invisibility cloak until the police arrive. I am proud to be a blank where I can hold my head up and drown in the downpour of state-sanctioned cancer. I am proud to hold my place in back of the line. I come from a land that's open all night like a shotgun wound. And as for y'all tired, y'all poor, y'all huddled masses yearning to breathe free, fuck y'all. I come from a place promising a burning cross in every yard and 2 meth labs in every garage. And when I say meth lab, I mean golden retrievers smoking crank. The country I come from, I can flash all its gang signs and beatbox all their anthems. I come from a place, actually, I don't know where I come from. I just know I woke up here. My babies were gone, my house was on fire, and I couldn't breathe, all right? The Department of Health recommends the following when drinking non-gentrified tap water. Please confirm race, ethnicity, and home address before continuing. We all know that old slavery narrative, how indentured families were tossed leftovers from slaughter, which may or may not include pig intestines or chitlins, ears, skin, feet, tails, neck bones, among other non-essential parts of the animal. What about leftover neighborhoods, gerrymandered with lynching rope, public swimming pools filled with hydrochloric acid for Juneteenth, or native lands reduced to a merch table and throw rug? Research has shown that despite race, income, and or education, many people enjoy the taste and refreshing benefits of water. If you and your people were transplanted and forced to root in isolated or hostile territory, you must learn a new relationship to your displaced or non-gentrified tap water, which may or may not be fortified with lead, barium, cadmium, chlorine, radium, copper, among other non-essential chemical additives. If you live on or near native lands, please refer to the attached chart for areas affected by toxic, nuclear, and medical waste disposal. Attachment is not available. Non-gentrified tap or hard water may or may not cause asthma, abdominal pain, and cancer in small children, with death as a minor and rare side effect. Symptoms begin within 1 to 7 hours after thirst or exposure. Preparing non-gentrified tap water for ingestion is a lengthy process and may take up to 1 hour prior to thirst or bathing. Cross-contamination within the home is difficult to avoid. Make sure your work area is well ventilated. Wear goggles or a face shield to protect your eyes and face from splashes of non-gentrified tap water. Keep children out of the kitchen until non-gentrified tap water has been properly boiled and the work area thoroughly cleaned. Keep non-gentrified tap water away from all baby food and formula. Boil non-gentrified tap water until blank. Do not use unprocessed tap water for ice, bathing, or oral hygiene. After handling non-gentrified tap water, thoroughly dry your hands with ethyl alcohol and clean under your nails. Clean sinks and all areas touched by any droplets of non-gentrified tap water with a hot or soapy chlorine bleach solution. Pour properly boiled tap water in airtight containers. Store in the back of your refrigerator. All vessels used in the preparation of non-gentrified tap water should be promptly disposed of in hazardous waste containers. Thank you on everything in my heart. Walking pre-dawn streets in my quarantined city, these blocks antiseptically silent, but there's still a trace of summer's blood in the gravel and sheets of smoke drying in the overnight air. To any rooster that's been weeping in its sleep, the dawn is bullshit, stubbornly proud of its poisoned colors. The sun scissors at night's hymn. Stars jiggle their baby teeth. My eyes a delirious bride before the newness of the world. In the prison of time, presence is freedom, and memory will kick hope down a flight of stairs. That God might be a junkie on the nod for human pain ain't lost on me, not after misreading Help Us in a noose of Christmas lights strangling a house. The dawn's breath begins sketching ideas for the day. You can hear dreamers solve equations in their sleep. Phantom Santas poxed in reds, whites, wave drunkenly from yards black as cemeteries. The streets have ceased recycling. They call for death or nothing. All right, I thank you guys very, very much.
Sundown, Levittown, Fort Apache, Dirty Harry, John Wayne, Blackface, Minuteman, Moynihan, Gone with the Wind, Breaking Bad. Washington Redskin, Confederate flag, the sword, the dollar, the cannon, the scholar, the cavalry, and the Ivy League. History is written by lightning, is the rising smoke of burning village. The ways measures victors keep their victims. A frontier thesis of notes on the state of Virginia, extraction, expansion, the winning of the West. Lewis and Clark, Smith and Wesson. Now circle the wagon with bloodshed and slave sweat, the crack of the whip, the law 3/5, the crown republic of King Cotton, the intended failures of Reconstruction, the housing covenants that greeted great migrations and did the same to the Mexicans and poor Mexico. So far from heaven and so close to Monroe Doctrine, to Davy Crockett, to prison industrial complex. A war on drugs is a war on our young. Bloody Christmas, reefer madness, 15 to life for 4 ounces, East Oakland, West Baltimore, south of La Brea and Oliver North, Plymouth Rock, Jamestown, the Rio Grande, stolen lives, stolen land. See, some are born in summer homes and palatial groves where pain was only to unfold from the pages of secret gardens where the red fern grows, but not I. See, I come from the stock of starry-eyed astronauts who greet the night sky with big dreams and wide eyes, always running down the devil's highway through occupied America, on the way back to us on Mango Street, and all the books you didn't want us to read. Raised on handball off the back wall of a panaderia born east the river, post Mendez versus Westminster, one generation with the red lines, and diplomas that were signed that those dreams in that skin need not apply. See, I come from struggle. And if my story offends you, it was only because you made the mistake of seeking your reflection in my self-portrait. See, this wasn't going to be about you. Because someone born of the common core, whose reflected faces grace the pages of doctrine discovered and age to be explored, where old world hardships crashed against new shores, New England, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, for others pushed off Turtle Island. Aslan, do not call this brown-skinned immigrant. Child of the sun, son of the conquest, Mexicano blood, run through the veins, the east side of Los Angeles. Do not tell him if native tongue and song will best be sung. Do not tell me who I am, because I was raised like you, miseducated in some of those very same schools off lessons and legends of honest Indians and Christian pilgrims and a nation of immigrants, all united in freedom. That isn't until they pulled aside my white friend, pointed directly at me and said, Scott, I judge you by the company you keep, and you spend your time with this. And that same old story, it's 1846. The adventure of Uncle Sam, the stick-up man, a wetback. Show me your papers, now give me your labor. The melting pot was never made for the hands that clean it. The American dream has always come at the expense of those who tucked it in. You don't know that, because you don't teach it. Could write you a book, but you won't read it, so you know this is about you. In 1492, in the Treaty of Guadalupe, and California missions and Arizona schools, these racists that try to race us as we're kids in cities that bear our names. But you can learn some today, because from Ferdinand to Minuteman, from Arpaio to Alamo, from Pope of Wood to Joaquin to the Indian, that still lives in me from 1868 to 1743, trying to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds, Canadian minds. They don't strike the Bandeola, Mizapata, Joaquin Murrieta, Las Adelitas, Brown Berezi, Zapatistas, from Richard Nixon, Third Napoleon, from Peckinpah to Houston, from Mozart Republic to Christopher Columbus, all the way down to Donald Trump. We didn't cross the borders crossed us. Who you calling immigrants? Pilgrim. This is Post. You know, it seems like yesterday municipalities raised cities, built nuclear families, associations of sturdy pockets, a two-car garage, a chicken in every pot, a military expansion, a man on the moon, and a finger on the button. Tomorrow doesn't show up all at once, but when it does, liquidate the pension. Automate the factory. Auction off the options. Don't worry about me. I worry free, freelance, contingency, smiling at your service to gig economy, side hustle. Millennial, post-industrial standard. Hire me as an adjunct. Fire me as contingent to a city I cannot afford to live in. Tell me my credit score. Better yet, tell me yours. Promise me the world, then show me the door. I was not born angry. I was abandoned. I'm your velveteen rabbit. The drying paint of Saturn eating his children. Neoliberalism feasting on the marrow of the past and the present, the jobs of tomorrow, gone today, born sometime after the foreclosure. Tell me another for the fire. Tell me the one where I killed the economy. Los Angeles is falling apart. In the streets, in the suburbs, in the wind. In a barely kept Hollywood bathroom, wheezing, vomiting, coughing up blood. These past few days, these past few years, I've spread myself across this sprawl. And now fear this drive may kill me. May kill us all. And I wander over a general hospital between whose walls desperation wears in high concentration. Upon the faces of the shop-worn and prematurely ill alike. As they wait upon the news of illness they cannot afford to have, survival without insurance may take a while. Los Angeles is full of untold misery. A homeless man sleeps next to me, and I could smell the years of hard distance between who he is now and who he may have been. And all that stands between him and the bitter wind is chance. It's the kindness of a night nurse who will sleep in peace. Los Angeles is full of good people who from time to time can turn a blind eye to killer policy, and I wonder how our bounce checks, free clinics, Carry cash and leave the count in the negative stamped to me and him. Me and the bitter winter, and if so, where would I go? From Venice to San Francisco is not war on the homeless. A war on the dispossessed. They got fewer and fewer options. They got shelters for women and children, all inadequate. Me, just man up, homeboy. It's that concrete pillow, it's that cardboard blanket, and freeze yourself to death. This city will leave you to die on the same stretch of sidewalk where banks stretch into the sky. And I wonder, as even now Skid Row is being gentrified as a city, as a system, as the pigs which will pass poverty, pass hunger, pass homeless, the very edge of existence on Skid Row, with some millions annually policing the misery of people with nowhere to go because your pockets are empty and you ain't got nothing, and change is not coming. Well, there's no real difference between a booming metropolis and a barren desert where money passes by you, passes through you, as though you were just part of the scenery, protected in the knowledge they are serviced by pigs who speak the language of violence, the language of the nightstick, the language of untold misery that will beat you for begging, beat you for sleeping, beat you for breathing, beat you for doing whatever it is you need to do to survive the night in the bitter wind, Los Angeles. I said Los Angeles. It's full of pigs. This next poem is a persona poem, meaning it's not me. I've actually had people protest me as I was doing this. It is a poem about being incredibly wealthy, a billionaire. And I once had this guy who goes, "We're gonna rise up against you." I was like, "Yeah, bro, I'm a billionaire, and I came to this open mic in Downey to brag in all 7 of your poor faces right now." That's what's happening here. But so it's a persona poem, so don't protest me. I'm pretending to be rich. I'm not rich. I thought about being a billionaire, but I became a poet instead. The rich, well, they're not like you and me. They see an opportunity, they grab it. Reach for the stars and they put them in their pocket. Company stays in the red, but they're backed by the government. Storms public dime to lines of pure profit. Research and development. The rich, well, they different breed. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Thoroughbred stallions. $250,000 mansions on the sea, Deepwater Horizon, blood diamonds, golden parachutes, silicon messiahs, feasting on endangered species, serving silver platters, when a palace is carved from the tips of icebergs, 6-figure charters, vulture capital, $1 million cufflinks, fucking life like an apple, insured by suicide nets, lifestyles of the criminally negligent, but you haven't lived. Until you've launched a car into space for no reason. And that's what I call freedom. The rich, well, here's how it is. Dollars and cents. Trademark and rent. Facts and figures, lines and a ledger, derivatives and debt, building the future, increasing productivity, union busting back to the 100-hour work week, trimming the fat, producing monopolies with real money, shorts, and bets. Now, my friend, it's how the rich stay rich while the rest make poor decisions in its pure ecstasy, living in the lap of luxury, pushing pharmaceuticals to market. The market will bear your body to its altar at a life or death bargain, the gospel of wealth, because it is what it is, and that's all it's ever been. The less we spend, the more we keep. You see, the rich and the poor, well, they're just like you and me. 2 hands, 2 feet. The sky, the sea, one heart that beats, and everything between. The time to make the most of it so you find no sympathy. Reach into these deep pockets. All we ever asked was for our fair share, and God damn it, that's all of it. Surround the streets, scream for peace and justice. We sleep in satin sheets, dream free and guiltless over oceans and tariffs, liquidating pensions and off to bid on porcelain portraits at billion-dollar auctions. You know you need us. You know we're selling your secrets. You know some sissy nakeds watching the puppets on television. Made freedom, free speech, fascism, democracy will reach in the earth and punch the ozone and fuel the economy with space stations. Yes, space stations hydrating the red planet. We're gonna survive this lava pit. So you got pots and pans, we got deeds and plans. Chopping down rainforest, colonizing the moon. We're the rich. Who the fuck are you? We'll privatize the water supply and then copyright the tears falling from your eyes. We're held down. What the hell are you talking about? The ice caps already melting. You want to start some shit? Eat the rich. We're already killing your kids. 1 carbon footprint, gas house emission, 1 oil rig, 1 naval ship, 1 free trade agreement at a time. We'll get away with it too. Nothing we say or do is ever held against us. Haven't you been paying attention? We're rich. That's a wake-up call. We gotta fight. So, you know, like the bio said, I've toured around to hundreds of campuses, get asked interesting questions. How do you get started? Who are your influences? Can you give us an example of a Latino experience? To which I typically respond, Chale. When I was 6, I lost a tooth and put it under the pillow. In the morning, ¿sabes qué? It was gone. fuck you. That's my Latino experience. That's it. Here's a poem about growing up in East LA. I was born on the east side of Los Angeles, across the tracks from Bandon Steel, an industrial petrified forest. Across the steps, a giant green tarp protected customers and gossipers, our abuelitas, from rays of sun and the bombs of birds. They spoke Spanish, sold mangoes, papayas, and cherries, my favorite. Now, as a child, I could never quite make the connection between the broken, empty bottles across the steps and the broken, empty men poured out the rust factories from across the tracks. So my cousins and I would gather and throw rocks of dirt aimed directly for the head, and the men would yell back something like, "What do you damn kids know about life?" And we yell back, "Take that, drunks!" That was messed up, but that's how it was, growing up, where Valley climbs up and over meets Soto. El Sereno. In the 1950s, my mother's father, a technician by trade, by birth, a prince among men. In a backwards kingdom that held him back, that treated him different for the radiance of his unapologetic brown skin, raised a family of 6 on a single income. There is hard-fought genius in me, older than my mother's womb. December 18th, 1981, after months of fear and absence, my father makes his return. My aunt moves to the hospital bed. She does not want to see you. You know what you did. It would be best for everyone if you were just to leave. My mother holds a newborn, her only begotten son. There is a pain in me, older than my father's blood. As a child, I could never quite make the connection between his fingers around my throat and the anguish in his chest, a suffering older than my father's bones. His father's whiskey. Grandfather's short temper, long-lived legacy to time. History does not care to remember because beatings aren't fit for scrapbooks and genealogy of shame rarely make their way to the oral tradition of campfire. There is a burning in my heart that time cannot trace. Moved out from my father's, the suburbs treat me different. One day in the workforce, I told my boss last night I met a woman. Beautiful and intelligent. Asked, where at? Boyle Heights, where's that? The east side of Los Angeles. Asked, incredulous, you met an intelligent woman in East Los Angeles? Wanted to slap the cavalry from his smirk. Beat the manifest destiny out of his name badge, but needing a paycheck, I stood in the weakness of silence, the pain and anguish of generations long past alive, and sickened in my chest there is a shame tempted upon us, older than the tongues of bigots. Walked off job, marched off lot, fist up for the cause in a world that has told us no, that's told us different. I have chosen yes. Yes, I am Chicano. Yes, Mexicano. Yes, indigenous, that brown skin and bleed red. Yes, unafraid and unashamed, my passion, my potential, my intelligence. Yes, the fire in my chest. Look into my eyes, could feel its strength. And yes, as a matter of fact, some of the most radiant, gifted, talented, beautiful, intelligent women I have ever met reside on the east side of Los Angeles, just across the steps from the streets where I was born. Yes, I am all of this and more. I, like you, am made of stars. You, like me, so full of pain, are brimming with genius. Listen to no one who would make you feel different.
The clown said to the doctor, I'm feeling a little blue. The doctor said, now listen, man, I'll tell you what we'll do. Oh, oh, hey, 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 oh, oh, hey. The clown, he bled and then he said, Pagliacci is my name. Patty told Judge Carter, it wasn't by my will. Carter said to Patty, the beans beans are already spilled. Oh, oh, hey, 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 oh, oh, hey. Patty bled and then she said it was all the SLA. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There ain't no second chances, no, you only get one turn. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There's only 10 commandments, but a million ways to burn. The princess said to Donald, I'm hip to what you do. Donald said, hey princess, you wouldn't dare to tell the truth. Oh, oh, hey, 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 oh, oh, hey. The princess bled and then she said, I know you're on cocaine. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There ain't no second chances, no, you only get one turn. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There's only 10 commandments, but a million ways to burn. Darling, I keep on telling you, I just can't take the heat. You say that I've got 9 lives, so I ought to land on my feet. Oh, oh, hey, 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 oh, oh, hey. First I bled and then I said, I've already lost a heat. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There ain't no second chances, no, you only get one turn. We're living in a wicked, living in a wicked, living in a wicked world. There's only 10 commandments, but a million ways to burn. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. We rifled through the bargain bin, took a vacation from our skin. Well, it was such a way to spend the day, just waiting for a new one to begin. There's no redemption that I seek, no consolation I can speak to myself or you. What's left to do but call the future what it is? It's bleak. So who's gonna take the oath? Who's gonna take the vow? Whatever fight you have left, well, the time is now. Save your sorrow Save your grief. It can't help you now, no, not at all. Save your sorrow. Keep your belief. There are many banners yet to fall. There was no ceiling to the sky, just the conviction we could fly. But our wings are clipped, the balance tipped, to barely having strength enough to try. Someday the memories I save will hit me like a tidal wave. But I'd sooner drown than look around and realize that I took more than I gave. So who's gonna take the oath? Who's gonna take the vow? Whatever fight you have left, well, the time is now. Save your sorrow, save your grief. It can't help you now, no, not at all. Save your sorrow, keep your belief. There are many banners yet to fall. Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great night. Appreciate you.